Hey folks, Jeff here with Back to Country. Today we're in the kitchen working on trying to get this house put together. And I'm here with Chris Rodriguez from CR Templates. And well, he's going to tell you what he's here to do.
Well, first off, I've got the Laser Products L2 2D 3D. I love this tool here. What it is, it basically makes a digital template. And I wish they would have had this 20 years ago when I used to install. Because this thing it will template and measure so precise, so long as the machinery cuts it to the template, it'll follow every curve, every bend, every fold, everything to the T like a glove. So an installer shouldn't have to even pull out a tool with this. That's the whole design of this tool here. But so first of all, with this here, I can measure horizontally and vertically. So I can measure full-size walls, which I've done floor to ceilings, slabs of stone, granite, and it'll measure horizontally. So we'll go ahead and get started here. So the first thing I'm going to do now is, if you can back up a little bit from the laser. So I'm going to set the plane. So we got this line here. So I'm going to hit this right here. That's a tool node that I'm going to measure horizontally. So there, I just set the plane. Now I can actually go ahead and start shooting. I like to start with the cabinet line, and we go end to end.
And so if you haven't figured it out, folks, what we're doing here is we're measuring for the stone countertops. And so we decided to go with a man-made quartz. And in order to have those fit right, that's what Chris is doing, is templating everything, and that creates the measurement, and also that when they fabricate the stone, it'll fit on the first try.
So when I shoot about every 12 inches, just to make sure we got every curve and bend and bow in the walls all covered. I'm gonna start a new line and come on over this way here.
If I was a cat, I'd be going crazy right now. Chase the dot.
Now we go inside the window here.
And so, yeah, this is a challenge to the whole thing because we've got a garden window that kind of expands out. And I always wondered how they were going to figure it out, and now I know. And so I'm here to tell you folks, this is not a DIY job. And the reason it's not a DIY job, Chris was telling me that this equipment here is a $17,000 piece of equipment. So obviously that's not something you're gonna purchase to do a one-time job. And I'm pretty sure you can't get it at Harbor Freight real cheap. So the best thing you can do is call in the professionals and let them take care of your countertops to make sure that everything fits perfect. And I know there's DIY jobs where you can put in a butcher block countertop or whatever, but that's a whole different level of work than doing stone, whether it be granite, marble, natural stone, man-made stone, whatever. And I guess that even includes some of those like Koran or whatever that are the resin poured stuff, that all that would be fit exact. And so they would want to template that. And if you're doing that type of countertop, you definitely want it done right, because I'm here to tell you it ain't cheap.
So we're actually done shooting everything. That's how fast it goes, to be honest. And now, this is what it looks like before I edit it, if you want to zoom in a little closer. So if you notice, we don't do any 45s, anything like that. I'm sorry, 90-degree angles until once it's all shot. So now everything's already done out shooting out and about. So now I'm going to edit everything, and everything is always shot at a 90-degree. Change my lines here. And we're gonna tie all those together.
And you can tell that he knows what he's doing and does this all the time.
We don't need those anymore. We don't need that. Get rid of that. Drop in the dishwasher. All right, so you're left with something like this. See how everything's already closed up? But what we want to do is make sure that this all right, so we're left with 29 and 15/16 opening. We want to make sure it's a 30. So what I'm going to do, want to make sure that opening is exactly parallel. Let's change the color just so we can see it. All right. Now we're going to check all those dimensions there. Okay, now we want to confirm everything is correct. So we got 14 and 13. Okay. And I've got 14 and 13 exact. 30 inches. And what I like to do on here is go all the way over and check to the wall. 123 and 3/16. And I got 123 and 1/8, which is good because now I can move this line over 1/16 to give us that 30-inch opening. We don't need that no more, don't need that. Let's check that, 54. $54 on the money. I got 41 and an eighth. 41 and an eighth.
So if you ever wondered how accurate these lasers are, they pretty dead on the money, huh?
Right on the money. 58 and 13. 15 and 5/16. So we've got that. We verified that there. 119 and 15/16. So now that we've confirmed all those measurements, so now I've got a fridge opening there, and we normally give it a 1/2 inch overhang into the fridge area. And then everywhere else is 1.5 inches. I'm going to fillet all those pieces together there. One thing about this system here is that it'll tell me once all my, what we call perimeters. So it turns green, and I can even check it. Drawing's good, confirms everything. Now all I do is just add my dimensions. Yep. And got a sink center there, and we'll show the depth, 40 and 13, and that's it there. 30-inch opening there, and we can even check 90 degrees. So we want to make sure that opening at the range is, we don't have one going over this side. Want to make sure it's parallel. So we got 90 degrees there as well. Corners 90 degrees. Corners 90 degrees. And now it's just labeling everything. We've got a sink. Fridge. Range. And that's that. So because we're going with a bullnose edge, we're going to give this a 3/4 inch radius right there. And I can even mark that 3/4 inch radius. Everything else dies into the wall. We have flat polish going into the range area, flat polish going into the fridge area. And that's that.
Pretty awesome. It's a pretty fancy piece of equipment for sure. And we're really looking forward to getting this job done. But I definitely can see the value of templating and making sure all the measurements are perfect. So,
most important part of the game, you got to make sure you got your drawing down, your template down, your measurements are correct. You know, so yeah, this tool here is beautiful. Like I said, I wish they would have had this 20 years ago when I used to install. But
so how did they do this 20 years ago?
Well, back in the day, and actually a lot of shops still do it. You'll make full-size cardboard templates, or even Luan strips, or Coroplast. You'll cut it down in 3 or 4 inch wide strips, and basically you'll lay down, you know, from end to end. You pull your overhang 1.5 inches, and with a hot melt gun, you know, you'll tap it to your cabinet, and then you'll basically make your skeleton frame. But now what happens is that with that method, you got a big old floppy, flimsy template, and now you got to get it back to the shop. Well, how are we going to do it? Now you got to fold it up, but when you fold it up, you're bending it now. You're taking away distance from that template, so it's not as accurate as something like this. And cardboard templates, when you make a full-size template, well, with granite, marble, once it's on the machine cuts, it's a wet saw. So with that template getting wet, when it dries, it shrinks. So you can lose up to 1/4 inch, you know, 3/8 of an inch with a wet template. So those methods are, you know, sometimes on the job site you do what you got to do to get the job done, but it's not as accurate as something like this here.
Awesome, very interesting. All right, well, we appreciate you doing this for us today and letting us film you and being able to share that with folks out in YouTube world.
Yes, sir, my pleasure. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.